Welcome back to What's Up Oxford. We are about to rock you, Oxford County. I've got Jay from Studio 73 Digital Media, and he has brought with him the voice of the iconic Canadian rock band Helix, Brian Vollmer.
Nice
Welcome
to be here.
to the show.
Thank you very much for having us.
Okay, I got to start with you, Brian. Helix, it was, what, 50 years ago?
50 years, half a century. We started in 1974 in Kitchener, Ontario.
And that was at a Battle of the Bands or something?
That was at the Battle of Bands at the COE, Central Ontario Exhibition. And we went from there and we went out on the Northern Ontario bar circuit. Branched from there to the Maritimes and out west. We got signed in 1983 to Capital EMI USA. We were never signed to the Canadian label. And then we started touring the United States. And we spent most of the days down in the States and over in Europe. And we come back to Canada. Canada really, because we were in a headline situation, took about 2 weeks.
Wow.
So.
And fast forward now, and you just were in Edmonton and St. Charles, Illinois.
At the Cree River Casino with Aldo Nova. And Aldo Nova, by the way, he sang backgrounds on our hit Good to the Last Drop.
No way.
Because Tony Bon Jovi produced that song down in New York City at the power station. And Aldo was there recording, so they got Aldo to sing background vocals. And before that, we were in Chicago with Honeymoon Suite at the Arcada Theater, which was built in 1929, I believe, by Al Capone.
Wow.
Very Art Deco type of place.
Yeah, yeah.
Right down the little coffee tables in the dressing room were really old. It was pretty cool.
Wow, that's crazy. And Jay, Studio 73 Digital Media, what do you all do?
So I actually met Brian through a merch company named Rock Paper Merch, which is Helix's merch company, and that's kind of what started my relationship with the band. I took over, redesigned their website, and Brian always calls me the webmaster. That morphed into us filming a documentary together, or starting to go out and get the footage, to designing the Helix merch, to well, pretty much over COVID, we did a fundraiser for Tristan to raise money for Tristan Roby, who was hit by a hit and run driver. And so we did a ton of live streams. We tried to keep music alive over COVID, and now we're here.
Wow.
Basically, marketing is what Jay does for me. He's very good at it. I'm kind of a little bit out of the loop because of my age, but he knows all the social media stuff. And you know, for a guy like me, I got so much going on, I can't just stop and learn a new craft. And really what Jay does is a craft. And it takes time to learn any craft. And but we've had this relationship for quite a while now, and it's worked out quite well for the both of us.
Okay, so double trouble here today. You got a new T-shirt.
Yeah, this is, so Helix is celebrating their 50th anniversary, and Brian wanted me to come up with a cool design. So this is the design, and I wanted to pay homage to the drummer, Helix, Greg Fritz Hines. He just passed away not too long ago. And also years ago, Helix lost their guitar player, Paul Hackman, in a bus accident. And so I wanted to pay a little tribute to them with the guitars and the drumsticks. And I think the shirt's been going over really well. Comes in 2 versions at rockpapermerch.com.
And by the way, we got the blessing of both widows of Fritz and Paul when we did these shirts.
And it comes in 2 versions, one on the back and then a little bit of an anniversary, and this one's for you.
Oh, right.
So,
thank you very much.
There you go.
Loving that.
Don't ever say we didn't get you something. The merch is a big part of what we do.
Yes.
Nowadays, that's the way bands survive. Ironically, the whole bar scene, the whole music scene has kind of gone around full circle. We mentioned that we were doing a book called the Golden Age of the Canadian Bar Circuit. It doesn't really exist anymore. That circuit was a great breeding ground for Canadian music, Canadian bands, especially during the 80s. It's gone now, so that's what that book was about. But back then, before the bar scene, bands used to do their own gigs, and they were non-licensed events. And people would go out and sit there, and they were like concerts. And ironically, it's kind of coming around to the same thing today, and that's where Jay really comes in and is really essential for a band like Helix to survive and continue on past 50 years.
And you got a backyard show coming up in London, is that right?
Well, I got the idea during COVID because a lot of people are having these gigs in their backyard. And I saw Cheryl Luscombe, and I think Jack DeKaiser maybe was there that day, but I thought, what a great idea. It's so intimate. And we have the acoustic show out, and I thought, I have an Airbnb in London with a huge backyard. I want to try my idea. And I'm the kind of guy, I like to walk the talk. And I talked about it for a couple of years, so I thought I'd better get on and actually do it.
Yeah,
and so we tried it, sold out in like 2 days.
The 100 tickets basically gone, right? And it's going to be the ultimate fan experience. I mean, the band's going to play 2 sets, and then they're just going to hang out with everybody, right?
Wow,
and we hope we don't get raided by the cops like the Beatles. And what was that?
I forget, but yeah. Well, you never know.
I'll go stand on the roof of my Airbnb as the cops arrest me.
And there's a show coming up in Delhi later in the year?
Yeah.
Delhi and Blythe Theatre, which is a famous theatre. Delhi's Capital 33, beautiful theatre once again. It's a good place to have the show, and I think we're going to bump it up to audio visual. Over the years, I've been a filmmaker, and I've filmed a lot of the stuff, the early stuff on Super 8, which I don't think anybody really did back then. I was one of the few people that had a sound movie camera on the road, and I still have that film, and so we're going to put some of that into the show. The way the acoustic show runs is that we have interviews with whoever was involved in the band with creating the song or has a story about the song, and so it's maybe 2 minutes of interview footage, and then it goes right into that song, and the band plays it, and then the lights come down again, and then we talk about the next song. So.
Gotcha.
Which we're going to film some of this stuff. As far as I know, we're on our way there next at the Fusion Center in Ingersoll. So I want to use some of the students there and the because it's like a community thing. So I wanted to give them some experience, and we're going to just to do some stuff in the town that I live in Ingersoll.
That's great. Okay, so just quickly, we're going to finish up here. The websites.
Websites, marketing, merch design, social media management, all of the above. I'm available for all of it. We're working on these right here, which I think we should show. We got a couple 3D
Hold it up a bit
statues.
higher there.
Hold it up higher.
We worked on these for 2 years because there's 3 parts. This is actually the first prototype. If you press it. But in order to make this, I first off,
So yeah, this is a friend of mine in Tempsford that's doing these for us, Matt Thurkelson, which is nice.
And I got Victor Assis to take a picture of me down at Assis Studios. Now, Victor Assis was, his father filmed Johnny Cash proposing June Carter at London Gardens, by the way.
Wow.
And but that was the first prototype, this. And they sell for unpainted $100 and painted $200, and I number the painted ones, I paint them myself. And this is where it's evolved to, which is, as you can see, a little bit bigger. So, but we worked on it for 2 years because we had to do the bass, and then we had to get the recording device,
new speakers,
and then the actual figure.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But like I said, merch is a big part of what we do. This is my new vinyl album, and I got this actually made at Jack White's studio in Detroit, and the covers were done down in Florida. So it's this is what's called a gatefold when it opens up like this. And usually the minimum order is about 500 units, and it takes you a long time to get rid of them. But I've been in the music business 50 years, and I hope to be in another 50 years. I'm an old guy, and so are you.
Yeah, we're trying. And this album, by the way, it's absolutely fantastic. It doesn't sound like Helix at all. I mean, it sounds like Brian, but it's definitely a very awesome record.
I wrote this album with Mark Ribler, who now is the music director for Little Steven of Bruce Springsteen's band.
Oh, wow.
So quality people. Recorded in Toronto at Hypnotic Studios with Tom Tremuth, who's a well-known producer, and
I run Tom Tremuth's social media for his Talk Music podcast.
Lee Aaron was on that album, and so was with the original one that Kim Mitchell was on. We had Molly Johnson sang a lot of the background vocals in that, and who else was on that album? Rob Laidlaw played bass. Brian Durner played drums.
Wow.
All top
Well, we
notch.
could sit here and we could talk forever. You guys should come back in the new season in September.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in today.
You're welcome.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
we'll come out
It
to
was
the
nice.
show.
Thanks for having us. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we'll be right back after the break.